Roll Giant first play and take a dub, and I would not be surprised to see that here, but it looks like I'm going to be wrong. And I also do want to mention that the graphic was indeed wrong. It was 85% Mugi. There was just something with the graphics team.
Oh, it was? Okay, all right. I was going to say, that is wild. And then just to let you guys know, we have Dominik at the top of the screen, Mugi at the bottom in gameplay, even if it might look otherwise in terms of camera. So a little bit of a flip-flop there, but the nice thing is their win percentage is the exact same. So that's at least correct. And the other nice thing is that Dominik is running Mortar, which... it's Mortar GY, which is the only version of Mortar that's actually good right now. Should be like Phoenix and Graveyard as those last two cards. But coming from a Mortar lover and a Mortar player, Mortar just really isn't it right now, Juice.
Yeah, I mean, I heard that very long sigh when you talked about the Mortar in the current meta there. But I mean, I think the main reason for that is just that Evo Tesla, like I said, is probably the best Evo in the current meta. It's just so strong in defense, and that really takes up the building slot a lot of the time. But we are in duels formatting, so you know it makes sense for Mugi to bring out an Evo Mortar. Maybe we'll use Evo Tesla next game.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you for the correction there. Mugi running the Evo Mortar, as I just told everyone at home that they were flopped. I wasn't able to follow the rules myself, but now they're back. So now Dominik's bottom of your screen, Mugi's at the top of your screen, goes with the graphics. Mugi's the one running Mortar, which makes me very happy. And I think that was maybe the only... I don't want to say misstep, because I think that that's like, again, like maybe too aggressive of a term, but I wonder if the Evo Mortar should have kept its HP. I wonder, because it feels like now it's like not super viable. I wonder if it would have been too strong, because like if an Evo Mortar locked on your tower, it was basically game over, which was maybe not the best thing. But also I feel like because it lost its HP, it just isn't super viable anymore.
Yeah, I think maybe you just like Mortar. Anyways, yeah, so we have Dominik here. Speaking of missteps, kind of predicting the Mortar on the left-hand side, but he's still able to defend the right pretty well. I mean, honestly, very impressed with that defense. Actually, a very close game right now. We see Mugi swapping lanes yet again. Evo Tesla is somehow helping a little bit from the right-hand side, though.
Yeah, a good swerve there from Mugi, and I was wondering if he was going to pull the trigger on the GY as soon as that poison came out. But usually if you know you're running Graveyard or running into Graveyard, you'll have a good response. And Dominik thought the skeletons were going to be enough, but the Graveyard piles up. Wow. Dagger Dutch is out of daggers, and just a couple skellies will do so much work. So now Mugi doing an excellent job here with Mortar GY. And obviously I'm very happy about that. Dominik not so happy about that last defense.
Wow, I mean, yeah, I guess the poison on the Evo Skellies there. Maybe Dominik thought that they were going to be able to swarm through the poison, but that is not the case. Evo Skellies did take a first attack speed nerf, a nerf enough to actually make it so that opposing skeletons, regular skeletons, can kill the Evo skeleton before it's able to respawn or swarm. And that's going to be a very nice dub for
skeletons, which are, you know, they're still pretty good. Mugi on the other side of it, he only loses parts of the equation, right? Like he loses Graveyards, but that's fine. He won with Graveyard. He loses Little Prince, which, you know, makes sense. You know, you're going to want to run that usually in game number one. Phoenix is kind of the other card that I'm looking at, though. Phoenix showing up everywhere, mainly again because of that Dagger Duchess and the resetting of the daggers and the ability to get a second Phoenix on the board. But now it's looking like Mugi might be going Giant Skeleton, Royal Giant, maybe?
Yeah, Giant Skelly Royal Giant, I would say, is probably the most likely option. We know how good Mugi is at Royal Giant, and on the other hand of things, the things that we all know how good Dominik is at Lava Hound as well, and it seems like that is going to be what we have here, a Royal Giant versus Lava Hound matchup. I really like Mugi's choice to... No, never mind, he's got a Goblin Giant.
And the Void out defensively, and this is kind of one of the things I love about CR, is when you get to see these players using new cards at a competitive level, right? Because when did you use a 3 elixir spell to defend a Goblin Giant in the past? Never, right? That was always the oh crap button, is if you would end up poisoning on defense or arrows, you know, something like that. But as you can see right there, the Void really, really effective against that Goblin Giant all by himself.
Lava in the back. Dominik finally finding a good moment to go for that lava. Mugi does have the Night Witch, Hunter, and the archers for air defense. So going back to what you said about maybe Mugi always going to try and make sure to have something versus that lava. Maybe that'll give him a solid chance to win this one here.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly what happened, right? Mugi goes, okay, I won game number 1. I don't think Dominik leaves the upper bracket round without playing Lava Hound one time. So what do? Well, I have, like you said, Juicy, 3 responses to air that do a great job. The Giant Skeleton, which you can always drop in at the bridge to clean up everything behind. But Dominik's still doing a good job, and that's what happens when you are the best in the world with a certain deck, is you are still able to break through hard matchups. We'll see as time goes on if that Giant Skeleton is going to continue to be a massive problem here for Dominik. And as of right now, looking like it could be.
Oh, I was so close to the Void, but the Giant Skeleton just makes it all the way to the tower. It's going to survive with a few hundred HP, but I mean, on the offense, it's not really breaking through. Night Witch, the Fisherman, the Dagger Duchess is doing the best that she can as well. Dominik trying to get another lava push going as quickly as possible, but it's going to be tough to break through this Hunter.
Yeah, Hunter comes down really early on here from Mugi. Does get the first line of defense in, or I should say the second. That second little zap from the Void he's able to protect with the Giant Skeleton. Then archers come down after the Hunter gets cleaned up off the board. And Dominik's still doing a really good job. And that might be it, Juice. He gets the Fireball in. Great Fireball from Mugi, a life-saving Fireball, but down a lot of Elixir as Dominik goes right back on the offense with Lava Hound. And this is exactly what you want to see. One of the best in the world going up against the best in the world with a specific win con.
Yeah. Here comes another Void, but the Night Witch here predicting the Void this time to prevent the Hunter. No, the Night Witch walks out. The Hunter goes down. Skelly drags at the bridge. He does have the Fireball back in cycle. He's waiting to make sure to hit it perfectly. But now the Miner is getting damage, forcing the Fish Boy. The Zap of the Fish Boy stops the Miner from getting pulled. But this is not Void range yet.
Yeah, Evo Zap plus Void maybe does it. I don't know. I need to learn all of the numbers well. But as you can see, Void comes in down to 82. So Evo Zap will do it. Regular Zap will not. And there it is. And that is why he's the best in the world with Lava Hound. Juicy, he gets through the Hunter. He gets through the Archers. He gets through the Night Witch with some precision. Pretty intense, dude, when he's competing. And to see him clapping wearing that pickle outfit, it brings me a lot of joy to see. And I'm very happy that he's wearing it today as we get to a game number 3, a very exciting game number 3. And as you guys can see, we're only in match 4 of 14. So a very, very long and fun day of competitive Clash Royale coming your way as we see Dominik early use that ability, not across the bridge yet. So the Dagger Duchess actually uses all of her daggers on the Fish Boy and then does not get any reflection. So a small misplay by Dominik early on here in game number 3.
Yeah, small misplay indeed. It looks like Mugi's also going to make a bit of a misplay here. Same decision there. Difference is the guards were blocking there, which made it, understandable, I guess. Spell does wear off on the Ghost, so not another Piggy going to spawn in. But the Bomber should be able to clean up everything here. And there's the damage advantage already for Mugi. Just because that one misplay from Dominik, you get the perfect timing with that Monk to deflect all the Dagger Duchess shots, which is why he did mess it up. He was trying to get it perfect, but he placed it just a little bit too early.
Yeah, and a very, very big difference already when you talk about the damage. 1970 to 2 untouched towers here for Mugi, who's coming out with Monk, Royal Hogs, and the guards up high here to get on top of that Monk. And the Royal Giant just kind of caught there. Does get a couple shots in, and the Monk not really in the right spot here for Mugi, so a couple shots should come in from that RG.
Wow. Here's the counter push, though. We see a Monk ability maybe going to deflect the right side tower Dagger Duchess shots as well. Guards and Ghost and Barbarian Barrel on the defense, but the Piggies are just such a consistent win condition, doing a great job cleaning everything up. And speaking of clean up, look at this Mother Witch spawning Piggies to protect herself and the tower. Mother Witch is just so versatile in that aspect.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, you know that counter push coming across the bridge was not gonna be like too dangerous from Dominik, but the ability to turn the counter push into another counter push of your own with the Mother Witch. And that bomber does not care about that fish boy, locks onto the monk, does get a shot in. And now we see the monk coming out from Mugi. So monk ability not in for Dominik, monk ability in for Mugi, was able to take out the wizard. And right now, the difference in monk play has been the deciding factor of the game thus far.
I think the biggest thing to mention there, though, is the Evo Tesla. I think that Evo Tesla is stunned the monk at the perfect timing to prevent the ability from even dropping in the first place. So Mugi doing a great job there, and I mean, it's showing very well also. I mean, look at the damage difference here. I like the barbell here. It's risky, but it's the right play. And here comes the piggies. Fireball placed in a way so that the monk does not deflect. He stops the pig damage, but he needs a good counter push here.
Yeah. He needs a big push. He needs to get in something. I like that he goes Wizard first instead of Royal Giant right at the bridge. Does need to get the ability off, and there, finally, the ability's off, but as you said, Juicy, not well timed. So as you can see, Dagger Duchess shooting very, very slowly, not getting as much reflective damage. And, you know, for Mugi being one of the best in the world with Royal Giant, he does know how to defend it. Another great use of the ability there. Earthquake in, and now we're just in a spell cycle situation as Log comes down. Dominik does a great job in game number 2 with his win condition of choice. You gotta love to see Dominik play some Lava Hound. Does it really well against Mugi in game 2, but Mugi able to take that set in 3 games as he stays in the upper bracket.
Showed why he's the greatest of all time with Lava. He just needs to prove it with 1 or 2 other decks, and we're gonna see if he can pull that off in this set. Here we go, game number 1, Coco against Dominik.
Dominik dropping the Evo Zap first play. I already know that's Lava Hound. He drops in the back next. Perfect cycle right now. You get the Evo Zap and cycle very quickly. You get a Lava Hound in the back. Coco, on the other hand, has a Ghost and an Electro Dragon, and with some Evo Skeletons, Void immediately dropping down on this Electro Dragon.
And so Zap will be able to take it out. He's going to be 2 away, or the second card is going to be there for him. And Coco going to have a decent amount of responses, but none of them are really that good, especially with this Miner helping out. I mean, Coco is in big trouble. This is a great push from Doom. And I mean, this is the type of deck that doesn't have a big spell like a Fireball or anything. Yeah, that's going to be towered down. Dominik, beautiful opening push.
And this is why I'm just really not a big fan of Void. I talked about at the beginning of the cast, and you, instead of placing a pump or cycling to a pump and then placing the pump and then defending to get a positive trade, to get a positive elixir trade, to get that advantage, all you do is Lava in the back or Giant in the back, drop a Void on a 5 elixir Electro Dragon, get a positive trade, take it out, and then Coco really can't do much at all. I mean, Dominik really just winning here because of a good starting hand.
Yeah, I mean, that is going to help tremendously for him. And my thought process is, would you like to see the Void just get... I mean, I can't tell if this would just make it unplayable or something, but let's say the Void just had a 0.3 second delay or something, longer than the delay is right now. Do you think that would be healthy for the game if we saw that?
I think it'd be healthy for the game, but I'm also down to nerf into the ground.
Okay.
No, I mean, kind of kidding, not really, but I think the Void is a spell that is very similar to the Mirror, right? I think that maybe the Mirror and the Void shouldn't exactly be in the game.
Wow.
They are. They're not going to go anywhere. But in similar fashion, they're either going to be a card that's really overpowered or really bad. I think that there's not really a big in-between with both of these spells.
Yeah, agreed right there. As we are finishing up game number 1, it's looking like this is going to be game over. We could see a Lava Pocket if he wants to finish off the game that way, or just more defense, which is probably going to be the avenue that Doom chooses. Miner up high, Barbs down low, and this is going to be game over. A perfect game number 1, where all he does is Lava first play and then defend out, and sometimes that's how you have to play Lava, just Lava first play.
Lava first play, followed by some pretty solid defense. Dominik doing Dominik things. I mean, we talked about with the Dagger Duchess meta, just because all those bats spawning in for free, it's like a bat factory I mean, think about it. The Night Witch is really just a mini P.E.K.K.A. that spawns free bats. And when you have a tower troop that has a limited amount of ammunition, if you will, I mean, it plays a big factor. It gets a lot of value paired with almost any big tank.
Yeah, I mean, it is insane how often I have either lost or won games because my Dagger Duchess was half filled with daggers and my opponent went Bridge Night Witch, and I just couldn't stop it because I didn't have the right spells. I didn't have something in cycle. So it really is a beautiful card at this point because just against the Dagger Duchess, it works well, for sure.
Yeah, speaking of decks that work well versus Dagger Duchess, we have a Dominik here with a giant graveyard. A very solid pick here, going against Coco using a minor poison deck. Very interesting. I guess he can't use Drill though because he just used it last game. So it's putting Coco in a pretty difficult situation here.
So the correct placement for Graveyard, we saw Dominik play the OG Graveyard placement. Do you know the correct Graveyard placement at this point, where it's like kind of 2 tiles up and 1 to the side or something like that?
Yeah, so usually you want to place it like from the normal placement, you want a little bit more centralized on the tower, and usually want to place it 1 up so that it's kind of like when you play a miner in the back of the tower when you have a counter pushing unit, so that it kind of separates the graveyard from the giant to make it difficult to defend. The reason why Dominik did go for the OG graveyard placement, like you said, with 1 side of the graveyard directly on the tower, is because Coco is most likely using poison here. And this way, if the poison does drop onto the graveyard, there is a higher chance for a skeleton to spawn directly on the tower to give value.
I see. That makes sense. Okay, and right there, Dominik taking the lead right there. But Coco doing a great job on defense, almost into OT, just 25 seconds away. And this bowler is going to be able to clean up everything nicely right there. And again, Dominik just going in with the aggressive giant at the bridge graveyard. And I mean, it's nice. If you do giant graveyard every time like that, bats are always going to be able to clean up everything with ease. And right there, we saw it. Bats clean up the miner and get him more value on offense. This is kind of scary, but it looks like Coco's going to defend it perfectly. We need to see him pop the ability, and there we go. Beautiful ability poppage with the Archer Queen.
Yeah, I feel like this is a matchup where if we saw Muhammad Light or maybe Mugi on the Coco side of things, that we might see some crazy outplays and we might see them win the game. But, you know, Coco maybe just not quite at that, you know, super SSS tier. And it's showing here. I mean, giant graveyard over and over and over again at the bridge, from Dominik, and it's just slowly chipping him down.
Yeah, right there, uses the poison on offense. He should cycle back quickly enough where he can poison on defense. But the question is, like, you're still giving up 200, 300, 400 chip damage every single time you do that. So do you try and avoid that and just place troops? It looks like that's the way he's going to choose to go. But I mean, even just a lone snowball can allow Dominik to get 400, 500, 600 chip damage. So he's going to have to make sure he swaps his defenses pretty much every single time. And if he doesn't, Dominik is going to be able to run away with it.
Here comes another spam at the bridge here with the miner. You have to make sure that Dagger Duchess is out of daggers before you go for the miner. But an arrow snowball on defense cleans everything up. We are heading into triple elixir here. Really, this is anyone's game, you know. But here comes a double giant graveyard at the bridge. That is a wild push. But the Evo Tesla cycle might be what he needs to be able to defend.
And right there, Snowball plus Arrow is going to clean up mostly everything, but the Little Prince is actually fairly healthy. And the second Giant almost going to make it to the tower, but not quite. Dominik cycling the archers. Snowball on top of the tower. I mean, just the constant aggression. It's forcing Coco to play defense instead of offense.
And that Little Prince dies, and the Dagger Duchess out of daggers. Larry's are going to clean up one last minor poison out of desperation, but it is simply not enough. Coco a little bit upset here, but, you know, I'm sure we will see him again. Dominik, very happy about this win.
Yeah, very animated. Maybe telling his coach that he's primed and ready to put the pickle suit back on.
What is he saying? We need a professional lip reader in here that also speaks German. Oh my gosh, what is...
Play it. It's just a really exciting chess match every time before the game even starts.
I think that's a great point that you make there, AC. And Juicy, you and I are on the cast for this one. Is this where he does it? Should it be game number 1 here, where he does not rock Lava Hound to be unpredictable?
Oh, wow. Yeah. I was laughing because I saw that zap. I was like, it's going to be Lava Hound again. Then he dropped a Giant Skeleton, and I guess not. A Giant Skeleton with Evo Zap, maybe a Graveyard. So not Giant Graveyard, but Giant Skeleton, Graveyard, Evo Zap with the arrows.
Arrows come down to clean up the goblins, knowing that the bomb will clean up the wizard. So an earthquake has to come out here for Faust. And I don't know, Juice. Hog, EQ in the Dagger Duchess meta with a Void being available. What are your thoughts on this deck pick, man?
We were thinking the exact same thing. I'm not loving the deck pick here from Faust. Maybe if he has an Evo Knight, he has chances. Earthquake and Goblins, 2 solid counters to the Graveyard. And I like this decision to also switch lanes. You got to switch lanes here and play Ops lane versus a Graveyard deck so Dominik can't defend and then counter push.
Giant Skeleton, Skeleton King Graveyard. So the spam is going to be plentiful here for Dominik. And I do really like that he swapped things up and went something completely different in game number 1 here. Will it work out? I guess that's what we'll have to wait and see. But at least in terms of Graveyard responses, that Wizard is always going to be a good response. Arrows is always going to help well against those Goblins. So Wizard plus Earthquake, Log plus Earthquake, or Goblins plus one of the above, or the aforementioned, could always be enough for Faust. We'll see if he's able to defend. But really, more than anything, can he get that Hog Rider on tower? That's the biggest question.
Monk in the back once again. He needs a good Monk ability with the Hogger to make that happen. Here comes the Wizard as well from both players. Dominik gonna have the Evo Zap and cycle for this defense as well, though. So maybe that can help him a bit, but I don't think so. I think this Hog's made it down. No, he's got a Fisherman.
Wow. Wow. Of all the days, of all the cards, of all the decks to have a Fisherman, got to be really, really happy to have one here, because looking at that last push, I think we were both thinking the same thing of, okay, I'm not sure how Dom is going to defend this very well. The Monk was in the right spot. He tried to drop a Phoenix on top of the Hog, but the Phoenix was kind of farther away than he would have liked, but the Fish Boy comes out late. So here we go. Phoenix tanking for the Skeletons. Arrows come in to clean up the Goblins. Phoenix gonna get on top of the tower. That Wizard just a little bit slow on the trigger. 1470, 1936, and I feel like as this game goes into overtime, I feel like the favor has got to fall towards Dominik with just such a heavier deck going up against Hog.
And the Monk ability is misplayed yet again. Monk's so strong in the meta, but it seems like a lot of these players are finding a difficult job of actually dealing with that Monk. Here comes the Skeleton King at the bridge. Fisherman locked onto the Hog, Knight the Ice Spear, and here comes another Graveyard push that has to defend. Dagger Duchess out of daggers here.
Yeah, the Wizard getting across the bridge, getting tanked for by those Skellies, pulls out that Evo Tesla up high. Maybe not the best way that Faust would have liked to use that Tesla, but still gets the job done.
Monk off lane Goblins, not popping the ability right away because he knows the block is going to happen. Now the ability, here comes the Hog. Hog kind of body blocked by the Giant Skelly though, and yet again, Hog not going to make it to the tower.
Yeah, it looked like the Fisherman might try to pull the Monk there for half a second, but still goes to the Hog Rider. And yeah, the abilities from Faust with the Monk have not been ideal. They haven't been terrible, but they haven't been perfect either. And here we go, Skeleton King ability coming in, Skelly's in the back, Skelly's up high, Wizard plus Log plus Monk gonna be more than enough, and now we'll see if we get the dual lane pressure, and we do.
Okay, Wizard gonna drop down, Earthquake for damage, Hog does not get a hit yet again. Monk ability gonna drop once again, but it's a little bit late again. Arrows dropping down. I mean, it just seems like Graveyard is a more consistent win condition here.
Yeah, I think honestly that's just the best way to put it, is that we're going against two guys that are playing this pretty well, but when you talk about what's getting damage on tower more efficiently, more effectively, and more consistently, it does seem like that GY is the way to go. And you know, this body block at the bridge, it's really interesting because you have two units that are so dense and so big that they're actually able to kind of combat that Monk pushback, right? The Monk pushes back the giant skeleton, but then you throw the Skeleton King in front of it. And I mean, this is a really, really close game, Juicy. I think you hit the nail on the head when you said GY is just the more consistent win condition. That's only 70 HP difference.
That's a lot closer than I thought I was going to mention about the reason why Earthquake is bad is there's really not that many buildings in meta. There's a lot of fishermen though, and Earthquake doesn't work versus a fisherman. So Faust really not getting a lot of Earthquake value at all. We are into game 2. We have an Evo Zap and an Evo Bomber from Faust and a Giant Skeleton. Maybe go into some Roll Giant, that's his comfort, or maybe a Graveyard deck. I mean, really, this could be anything here.
Yeah, you know, and it's so weird because Dominik ran Graveyard last game, so this looks like he's going to go to the skies. I mean, you see Night and Inferno and Snowball, and you think, okay, well, this is either going to be Graveyard or it's going to be Lava, and it looks like Dominik's still going to go to the skies here. I think that's what you have to do, right? I mean, I was thinking maybe he tries extra hard and goes for the double swerve of countering something that counters Lava. But also for Faust, you wonder if Faust is like, all right, I'm gonna defend against Lava, but I'm not gonna sell out hard on Lava Hound. And you can see with, you know, the Night Witch and the Giant Skeleton, he at least has the bases covered a little bit. Wonder what else he has though for air defense.
Yeah, Night Witch obviously not going to be able to do enough on its own. Inferno Dragon at the bridge. He does not have enough for Void, though. He drops it when he has enough, but the Inferno Dragon's already got the job done versus the Giant Skeleton. Oh, look, maybe I was wrong. Maybe Night Witch is enough on its own. Look at all these bats.
Yeah, bats stacking up there. Lava Hound made pretty quick work. Little Prince comes out late. Snowball to push it back, though. Should allow one of these Skeleton Dragons to get on tower. No, both still get on tower.
Yeah. And this is why Dominik has like a, I don't know, I think you guys said like 77% win rate with Skeleton Dragons. I mean, yes, he's using Lava a lot with those dragons, but he's just very good with them. He knows how the interactions work. And Faust with actually the Goblin Giant. I like the lane switch here, though, a lot. You really don't want to go same lane as a Lava Inferno Dragon here.
Inferno Dragon comes down here with an Evo Knight up front. Now that Inferno Dragon should have a harder time getting on top of this Goblin Giant. Bats plus the Evo Zap going to play some good distraction, and then the Skeleton Dragons will not be taken out by the Void because close enough to the tower there, but still great damage in here from Faust, evening things up. 1749, 1711. Dominik right back on the offensive as he's going to let this push on the left-hand side die on the bind.
Prediction, Goblin Giant for Void, but Dominik predicts the prediction, waits to Void after that, and now there's a balloon going to this tower and is almost impossible to stop. On the other side of things, Faust actually hits the tower with his Void, so the Inferno Dragon gets a lot of damage done. King Tower activated. There is a Night Witch on the board, but he has enough elixir for the Snowball. Defensive Void, is it enough? Yes, it is. Dominik with a 2-0 sweep versus Faust.
Wow, yeah, and I think it was just that Void at the end that is on top of tower and the Inferno that makes it so Faust good with, but I think you got to change it up against Mo and Julesy.
Yeah, I agree, and we're hopping straight into it. I don't know exactly who's on the cast for this one, but we got a Lava Hound here. It looks like Josh is going to be joining me.
Yep. Yeah. And okay, so dang it, I didn't get to say it in time, but my thought process was I think Doom should go in with Lava game number 1.
Yeah.
Because I think Mo Light and Julesy are so brilliant with every single thing they do and with all their thought processes that they're gonna come up with decks that will soft counter it. And so you might as well just play game 1 because that's going to be the most surprising from Doom. So I love that he's running Lava game number 1.
Dominik is 3 for 3 for Lava on the day. Lava was 100% win rate until Muhammad Light broke that streak, beating Ian with a mortar here. The question is, can Muhammad Light do that again using a Tesla, a Little Prince, and a Princess for air defense? I think he's pretty solid, and the Prince's Bridge, once again, is just so difficult to defend, especially since you know whatever you play on it, the Dagger Judge is going to clean that up for free.
Yeah, right there, forces out the arrows. So I know some people are going to think, oh, why does he delay the arrows so much if he has it in cycle? But you have to be careful against these kind of decks. You cannot just go down to 0 elixir and allow for Mo to just play his game like that. That's why he delayed the arrows, so that way the counter push wouldn't be insurmountable.
Bomber at the bridge, trying to take out the Princess. Princess gets 2 shots again. Muhammad Light getting so much damage just from that Princess bridge once again, and I honestly I'm kind of mad about it. I hate Princess at the bridge. It is so difficult to stop. If you have the quickest reaction time ever and you're hovering the card, you can stop in time, but it's not something easy to do. I do like Dominik's macro decision to switch lanes here, though.
Yeah, we're going to have to see how he wants to approach that. Going to go in with the late Valk as well. So now the question is, what is his last card? Okay, so it is going to be Loon, so he is going to be running Lava Loon now. And this is going to be a massive value, potentially. Can he take out the Little Prince? And he absolutely does. This is going to be tough to stop if you're Mo-Light.
Oh, and
just kidding.
Unless you have an Evo Tesla in cycle. Evo Tesla, like I've been saying, I think it's the best Evo currently. It's just so strong in defense, and it's showing that right here. I mean, and once again, look at Muhammad Light's Princess control here. Ooh, wait, Dominik with one of the best Evo bombers we've seen today is damaging everything, but it's not taking it out. And there's 3 Princesses on the board, Josh. I mean, this is wild.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to get the Void on top of the Little Prince, but this Princess on the left side is eating away, gets the left tower down to 1051. And, I mean, if there's anybody who can make a comeback with this deck, it's going to be Doom, but it's especially with that second Princess shot. The way Mo-Light has found this deck and perfected this deck already, it is so special to watch. We're just a joy to be a viewer right now.
And once again, shout out to Juicy, Muhammad Light's coach. Not only is Juicy really good at picking the decks, I feel like he's good at making them. I mean, I don't know if Muhammad Light or Juicy made this deck, but in theory, it is very, very good in the meta. I would not be surprised if we start seeing this exact deck be played on top ladder within the next week or 2.
Yeah, and right there goes with the Lava Bridge, trying to make something out of nothing. The Princess Bridge on the other side is going to do it, and Mo-Light is going to go up. I'm trying to look through his battle log right now. It does have Little Prince Tesla, so yeah, we'll just have to see how Mo-Light wants to react, but he's already throwing out emotes, and we don't really see that from him that often, so a lot of confidence coming in from Mo.
Snowball to start here. Leaking Elixir, waiting for each opponent to play. 33% win rate with the big costume. I think it's down to 25 now after that last loss, unless I'm wrong, because yeah, he won 1 and has lost 3 now. So, I mean, just in case you guys were interested in the pickle stats.
Which obviously they are. So like, let's. It's a rhetorical question.
Yes, this is true. Okay, some more plays have happened. We got a Night Witch, a Little Prince, and a Zap. Probably Giant. Definitely a Giant beatdown deck. We got Mo with a Monk though, and a perfect Monk ability. Now these are the Monk abilities that we've been waiting for. The Monk ability playing as soon as it crosses, deflecting every single dagger shot. Just the Monk is honestly enough of a win condition versus Dagger Duchess.
Yeah, and right here, Dominik going all in, basically. Playing the Giant Skeleton very high. Will be able to get to the Mortar, and I don't know if it's going to be able to do more. And really, he's going to have either Guards or Phoenix back in cycle. But that's a lot of chip. Getting the tower all the way down to sub 2,000. Get a little bit more chip. 1657. Great start for Dominik so far.
Here comes another Monk at the bridge with another very nice ability. Tesla getting tanked for, does not deflect, obviously. So, I mean, this is kind of what we expected, though. I mean, we got Dominik with a Graveyard, like we both thought. And then we got Muhammad Light with the Guards to cover since he doesn't have Poison as an option. But what we didn't expect is Muhammad Light with a Graveyard of his own, forcing out Dominik's defensive Poison. And now the Mortar to the bridge. Dominik is screaming I don't know. And we got Little Prince at the bridge here with a Zap, though. Very nice Zap.
Yeah, right here, he should be able to get the graveyard out if he wants to, since there's no guards in cycle. Instead, he's just going to try and bridge push. I don't think that's going to be super effective, though. I think I would have rather seen a graveyard out of him than trying to spam the bridge like that.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I think Muhammad Light is always going to be able to have some good micro to defend those big pushes. But, I mean, no matter how good your micro is, let's be real, the Graveyard... Wait, Evil Bomber at the bridge, predicting the Little Prince ability. That's so much damage.
Wow.
4 shots from the Evil Bomber and taking out the Little Prince. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, just massive from Molite, and that's, I mean, that is, it's not shocking if that's the game winner right there. Dominik is going to have to figure something out, go aggressive with the Giant Skeleton plus the Night Witch. I mean, really, it should just be Giant Skeleton, Night Witch. I love the Evo Tesla Bridge, and then just try and get Graveyards on the tower. That's how you're going to win. Force out defensive, I mean, just over expenditures on defense, and then hope that you're able to get it past it.
Okay, Poison and Zap on offense, forcing the snowball. A lot of damage coming through. This comeback might just be possible. We do see the mortar drop to the offense. A Little Prince with a little bit of an interesting placement. I would have liked to see it more centered to maybe an ability off. Molite not able to get this mortar shot, but forcing the guards now. And that's the thing about mortar plus Graveyard, right? It's the fact that you can force out Elixir with the mortar and then go for your Graveyard and make these defense very difficult.
And right here, this Bomber is also going to have to get a response. So that Bomber is going to get one shot, a second shot as well on top of the Little Prince. Down to 158, just going to cycle Mortar, Graveyard. I mean, we should see a naked Graveyard soon, unless the Bomber can do it. No, not quite yet.
Arrows in cycle. Well played from Dominik, called out. That is going to be a 2-0 sweep from Muhammad Light. And he's nowhere to be seen. He's excited. He's jumping out of his chair. And I'm sure he's celebrating with his coach as well.